Welcome. I'm Hugh Massey, the CEO and founder of DNA Behaviour International. In today's webinar, I'm going to talk to you about leadership performance and explain to you some tools for guiding enhanced leadership development and a framework to thinking about leadership. So some leadership performance challenges. The big one is holding the team accountable for its performance. So many leaders don't do that. Providing appropriate levels of transparency. A high level of transparency is always good. Taking personal responsibility as a leader. Clear communication. Responding to events and problems with emotional balance. Being personally authentic and trustworthy. And then knowing how to identify and manage the right talents for the team. Manage succession planning, and defining the leadership legacy. So we talk about the concept of leadership performance balance. Some leaders, such as myself, are born to be results driven, which will mean that I will have more trouble with building sustainable relationships. Some people are born relationship driven and will have more trouble in achieving results. At the end of the day, you need both. But the real key is, particularly for the results-driven leader, is how can you grow those relationships and be more relational in your leadership without sacrificing the ability to achieve results. And it's the same for the relationship-based leader. It's important to remain who you are, but work out techniques to achieving results. The Business DNA Natural Behavior Discovery will provide you insights as to your results and relationships balance because it's specifically reported on in the feedback. Here's a leadership engagement model that I have found fascinating, wonderful, and extremely powerful. And I always remember when I get into a corner with leadership, my tendency will be to withdraw. I'll go and hide. I won't deal with the issue for a little while. And a lot of people are like that. And then the flip side is that when you decide to come out of the withdrawal phase, is that you'll move across to dominate. And you'll control, dictate, force, and bully. So none of those words in there are particularly nice. And so what you need to learn is, as a leader, how do you continuously stay engaged, engage with problems, engage with successes. This is going to be the key to your success. So as a leadership development model, we have 6 pillars. Firstly is to do a leadership review. To identify the leader's strengths and struggles and how they're leading the team, what's required of them in terms of their strengths and struggles for building a healthy team and increasing revenues. And then the leadership assessment is really the completion of the Business DNA Leadership 360 process so that the leader can understand their impact on the team. And this also is a starting point for helping the leader become more vulnerable with the team. I always believe that once the leader has completed the 360 process, even if they're not happy with all of the results, that they go and talk about it in a calm way with the team and thank everybody for the input, and just mention that they are going to be working on some of the struggle areas, mention what they are, and then hopefully the team will allow them the grace of doing that. And that's a very, whilst it's challenging to do that, it's also a very empowering exercise. And then as part of the leadership review, we can look at the team. How do we then build the team relationships, building the right business plan with round pegs and round holes, and then we can discuss the ongoing leadership coaching so that the leader can develop their own levels of behavioral awareness and learn to coach each team member based on their unique talents. So it's really the leader as coach type program. We have a leadership performance plan booklet And really, this is just a framework to help the leader navigate a leadership development process and to analyze the results, respond to questions, and it's really used as the coaching framework to develop. So to reiterate, in the leadership behavior discovery process and the initial leader review, in the first couple of steps, the leader would complete their business DNA natural behavior discovery. They'll get at least the workplace operations report and the coaching report, and then the next part would be that the 360 discovery process is completed by themselves, and then also with the input from hopefully 8 to 12 peers, superior stakeholders, people that they regularly interact with, so that their leadership impact can be seen. So if you look at a person's leadership style, so look at Chris Coddington, and again, we always start with the two strongest traits. So his strongest one is being pioneering. So we know he's a very goal-orientated and ambitious leader, and he could be too driven and success-focused. With this score here, he could be relentless as a leader if he's not self-aware, and then he's going to be skeptical here, so very questioning and guarded, and could be too doubting and wary. And again, the challenge coming here as the leader is that Chris is not going to be vulnerable enough with the team, so he's going to have to learn to come out of his shell on that. In reviewing your Leadership Performance 360 report, feedback always stings. No one really enjoys it, but it's good to move from the denial, anger, shame to accepting it and embracing it, and that's where I encourage the team discussion about it, and that will lead to the closing the gap. So this feedback really is helping each person fine-tune their behavior and keeping them on track. What we've also found with our process and why it works really well is that if you complete the natural behavior discovery first and see who you are at the core and understand that you might be results-driven or relationship-driven, on a sort of natural instinctive basis, that's your go-to place, and then you accept who you are, it's easier to receive the feedback as to how you're impacting others. Whereas if all you get is the Leadership Performance 360 report, and there can be a lot of feedback in there, and you don't understand where that's coming from, and that can be even harder to take. So I always believe that the completion of the Business DNA 360 discovery process up front creates far more empowerment in this process. In the next webinar, I will talk to you about Leadership Performance 360 discovery process itself and the more specifics of the reporting, so that you can see how your leadership is impacting others.